This is 5 on your side at 6. Focused on you.
First tonight, a weather alert. Storms have been moving through the region, and some of them are real soakers. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Ann Albrecht.
And I am Kelly Jackson. All that rain is raising flooding concerns. Let's go right to Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell.
And the good news we have for you this evening is that the rain is diminishing for most of us. Still looking at a couple of flood advisories here from Union back through St. Clair down to Stanton and Sullivan and Franklin County, and then down into parts of Iron and northern Reynolds County, including Bunker and Ironton. Those are flood advisories, but in those areas, the actual heavy rain has diminished. We're still watching some of that heavier rain slide a little farther to the south and to the southwest of where it was pouring earlier, but 1 to 2 inches of rain easily fell out of some of those thunderstorms. There's not a whole lot left, and in the metro area, upwards of 1 inch or 2 fell in some spots, but it was very localized. With the wet ground, that created, though, quick runoff because the water had no place to go. About 1.5 inches in Maryville, as well as down in Hillsborough, Missouri. So the dying downpour is what we're tracking right now. Through about 7 o'clock, that localized flooding threat is diminishing as the rain comes to an end, but it's those low-lying, flood-prone areas, the poor drainage areas, that have had the problems this afternoon. Just in time, of course, for the evening rush hour for some of us, but it's almost to an end, and good news coming up in a few minutes, Kelly, on the weekend.
All right, Scott, and you can get the Weather First forecast sent to your phone. Just text the word weather to 314-425-5355, and we'll send you a link. The family of fallen St. Louis police officer Tamaris Bohannon forced to relive the most awful moments of their lives as the man responsible faced a judge and jury.
Tonight, in an exclusive interview with our Christine Byers, Alexis Bohannon, Officer Bohannon's widow, opens up about what it was like to confront her husband's killer. Christine.
Alexis tells me learning more details about what happened that day was gut-wrenching, and it wasn't the only tragedy she was experiencing during the trial.
The first thing you see when you walk into the home where the Bohannon family now lives is a shrine to its patriarch.
I did this for a reason, so that we have a space that we can come to, me and the kids, when we're thinking about him.
It houses a collection of police mementos, photos, and other memorabilia donated to fallen officer Tamaris Bohannon's family. He was shot to death in the line of duty in August of 2020.
All we have left are pictures now.
He is enshrined in this glass sculpture. And it's here where Alexis Bohannon came to find strength during the trial for her husband's killer.
It's eerie when you have to sit in a room with a person that murdered your husband.
And she did it for 2 weeks straight earlier this month. The defense argued the man who killed Officer Bohannon should be found not guilty by reason of insanity. Prosecutors pushed back, playing recordings of jailhouse phone calls the killer made, calling Bohannon's funeral a joke, and laughing about his arrest.
Hey, they broke my nose back straight.
Using mental illness as a defense was very personal for Alexis.
I do believe in the power of therapy. It's a lot of people who really struggle with mental health issues, and most of them don't kill people.
Alexis bolted out of the courtroom when the suspect's ex-wife talked about how her children can only talk to their dad on FaceTime calls.
And I'm just thinking to myself, at least they have a dad to talk to. My kids have no dad. The audacity, right?
With her in that moment, just like always, was her younger sister, Amber.
I even made comments to her like, Amber, you don't have to be here every day. Like, go home, go rest. And she was like, no, that was my brother. I'm doing this for Tamaris.
Then, the night before the verdict.
She had some ongoing heart problems, heart complications, and she unfortunately passed away.
The defendant would please rise.
Alexis listened to the verdict without her.
As to count 1, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty of murder in the first degree.
It brought me great joy that all 12 of those jurors saw things for what it was.
Now, her sister has a place on a shelf among Tamaris's belongings.
I do find some solace in knowing that regardless of life circumstances, she was there for me when I needed her most. It's a journey. I did not expect to have to raise 3 kids by myself. And so I'm doing what I think needs to be done. I make my children my priority.
The Tamaris Bohannon Memorial Foundation is also a priority for Alexis. It's a nonprofit that helps undergrads pursue degrees in criminal justice, social work, human services, and criminology. Her latest fundraiser includes a t-shirt with the word guilty and the date of the verdict on them.
Alexis has been so strong through all of this, and you have kept in contact with her. You've been following this story since 2020, and tonight we wanted to let everyone know you will be leaving local journalism as of today. You didn't know we were going to do this, I know.
I did not.
But you are, you have told thousands of stories of St. Louisans. You are the most well-sourced, dedicated local journalist in our region. So thank you for everything you've done for our newsroom and for telling important stories like this.
Yeah, and I wanted to say that you've been such an unbelievable contribution to KSDK and for the community, and for being able to hold people accountable for the people that you have reported on. So I've called you a unicorn, which you are, Christine. So you will be missed, but know that you have been so appreciated here at KSDK.
And we didn't fire you. This is your choice, yes.
This is my choice. I'm pursuing a different career opportunity.
And you'll spend a little more time with the family, which is always good.
Absolutely.
Wish you the very best.
Well, I thank the two of you as well so much for all the guidance and everything you've given me along this journey.
Christine, you will be missed, but plenty of time to keep in touch.
Yes.
Also tonight, city leaders say downtown St. Louis is hitting its stride. While census numbers show a shrinking city still struggling to grow, the mayor says there are key signs of life. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, is live downtown at the big city social event happening right now. Mark.
Yeah, and big crowds like this are a key element to the city's push to combat crime and to regain control of the narratives around crime. If you show the city off, prove to enough people that they're safe, safety in numbers, the idea is that feeling starts to catch on. Mayor Jones came down here with a top cop, top prosecutor, and business leaders earlier today to launch this big city social event and to double down on her recent remarks that St. Louis is in a renaissance. The timing was interesting there. She actually said that for the first time on the same day new census numbers showed other major Midwestern cities growing. Detroit actually posted a larger population for the first time since 1957, and yet St. Louis continues to shrink. But can we really trust those numbers? The census itself often undercounts black and brown populations, and the census estimates count new buildings as growth and demolitions as loss. So if the city knocks down a bunch of homes that sat vacant for decades, it looks like population loss on paper. One other metric we can count for sure, more suspects are facing a judge and being held behind bars.
A lot of times when I first showed up here, people were being arrested multiple times over for crimes, and they were never being charged. With Circuit Attorney Gore, now these people are being charged for the first time crime, and we're going back and charging them for the other crimes that they committed they were never held accountable to.
The chief acknowledges the department, like the city, is shrinking and growing smaller, but with crime trending down and certain parts of the city showing growth, city leaders are selling the sense of confidence that perhaps St. Louis can eventually spark that broader sense of urban renewal. Live downtown, Mark Maxwell, 5 on your side.
The clock is ticking to pass the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, and a St. Louis advocacy group is asking for Speaker Mike Johnson to bring RECA to the House floor. The deadline for the House to vote on RECA is just weeks away. 5 on your side's Megan Kernan talked with Just Moms STL today about their continued push for the legislation. Megan?
Kelly, it's a fight for federal compensation. The co-founders of Just Moms STL returned from Washington, D.C. last night. Now, they've been to D.C. before, but say this was their most successful trip yet. A legislative deadline for thousands of St. Louisans affected by radioactive waste is near. Karen Nickel and Dawn Chapman with Just Moms STL continue the fight to get RECA through Congress.
They really had no idea that we were still being exposed here. That we had found radioactivity in our parks and in our homes and in our backyards and schools.
This week, they took their 5th trip to D.C. since September, sharing personal stories of victims in our area, including Chapman's son.
But my son has been very ill for 2 years. He's actually been ill for longer than that, but with another illness and almost bedridden. It's been very difficult. And we don't have a medical reason why.
Her fight is not just for her son, but for every victim. For months, the group has tried to meet with House Speaker Mike Johnson. Thursday, one step closer to that goal. Congresswoman Ann Wagner helped Nickel and Chapman set up a meeting with Speaker Johnson's policy director.
I think that he was a little bit stunned, and a little bit of emotions were flowing in that meeting from from him and from the other two members of the Energy and Commerce Committee, people that were in that meeting as well.
They have been told they have enough votes. All that's left now is for the Speaker to bring Rika to the House floor for a vote.
We did more than we set out to do, and we didn't even have time to prepare. So I think that we're being carried, and I think that we did enough. I think he's going to move.
Nickel and Chapman feel hopeful that Rika will pass. Today they spoke to Senator Josh Hawley, D.C., who is also advocating for Speaker Johnson to bring the vote to the floor. More advocates from our area will travel to D.C. next Wednesday to advocate for Rika as part of Atomic Bomb Victims Day. Ann?
Coming up, a salute to veterans in Jefferson County. The meaning behind a new monument dedicated in Arnold.
Plus, as the weather heats up, people look for places to cool down. The reason many rivers and streams are especially dangerous right now.